Good evening, Good evening and welcome to Galloway Township Board of Education meeting. Today is September 21st. It is 7 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Avery?
Here.
Dr. Bashara Blau?
Here.
Mrs. Chester?
Here.
Mr. Gentile? Mr. Nord?
Here.
Dr. Parmenter? Mr. Dace?
Here.
And Mrs. Carmen.
Here, can we all rise for a flag salute led by Mr. John Moore?
I
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That's much better than the virtual one.
Yes.
In accordance with Public Law 231, notice this meeting was provided to the press in the Galloway Township Municipal Building on January 23rd, 2020. We do have approval of minutes this evening from August 24th, 2020, which was a virtual meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those? All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Any opposed? Thank you. Reading of communications, please.
Thank you, President Carmen, and good evening, everyone. Under communications, we do have a letter from Krista Atkins, teaching and learning facilitator, expressing gratitude to the board and administration for recognition and flowers, acknowledging her 50th anniversary here in Galloway Township Public Schools. And this
Congratulations, Ms. Atkins.
I do have that letter if any board member would like to see it. Ms. Atkins is a wonderful writer.
Thank you. And moving on to presentations, please.
We have no presentations this evening.
Superintendent, can you turn this down?
Yes, I have a school opening update this evening, and today begins our second week of the 2020-21 school year. And I certainly have to begin with a thank you and acknowledgement of our team, every category of staff member who worked so hard to get schools ready to open and really put themselves into week one. Thanks as well to the families and students, their patience, their support, their active engagement. The first week was one of many positives as well as challenges. Interestingly enough, the in-person portion was probably the smoother one, and it was the one people were more worried about. Everyone has adjusted so well to the protocols related to COVID-19. Arrivals and dismissals have been going beautifully, and the building administrators, principals, assistant principals, directors, myself, other district administrators have been out and about at arrival, and have also had the chance to visit in-person classrooms. Of course, the highlight is seeing the children in person, and they are doing a tremendous job with all of the adjustments. In terms of our virtual program, of course, it's wonderful to see the children electronically as well. As everyone knows, we have had some technical challenges. Our teacher laptops didn't come in, and there were a lot of issues with connectivity on Zoom. We learned that Chromebooks are much better for participating in a Zoom than hosting a Zoom. Fortunately, the latter part of last week, the new laptops did arrive and have been distributed to virtual teachers first, teachers of special education, and are getting out to all of the teachers. Devices are also being provided to many of our classroom assistants who do one-on-one or one-on-two work with our students. The transition to OnCourse. For some of us, we've been through a new student information system before. The last time we changed student information systems was 20 years ago. And it was a challenge then. You add a pandemic and virtual education, and you make it even a greater challenge. And we realize that everyone, administrators, teachers, students, and parents, are still adjusting, and we are trying to continue to give support to help everyone to really understand how the system works, how to, on the teacher side and administrative side, post announcements and post lessons and all those other aspects, and also trying to help the students and their parents. We are allowing teachers to have the option of using OnCourse Classroom or Google Classroom. The feedback I have is that many teachers are staying with OnCourse while others are going to use the Google Classroom. Either way, OnCourse remains the main system. That is how on virtual days, students mark themselves or their parents help them, mark themselves present. It is the parent portal. It is the system for grading and attendance. Zoom is the tool that we are using for the virtual meetings. Some folks have asked about Google Meet, and the Zoom has many features that add better security, as well as ease of things like breakout sessions within the live sessions. So again, we realized last week had some tough technical challenges. The feedback I received today was that things were better, and we anticipate continued progress as the week goes on. I've communicated with the administrators, with some teachers, and with families, and many teachers and office staff members and building and district administrators have done so as well. Today we sent a verbal phone call and a written email to families about attendance, because we were finding that some families, if the child participated in the Zoom, they thought they didn't have to actually mark themselves present. We had other families on in-person days going into OnCourse and marking themselves present, and that's not how the system works. So we did send a reminder call and email via school messenger today. And then tomorrow, we will begin the practice that has existed for, I can't tell you how many years, when students are not present, be it virtually or in person, based on attendance in OnCourse, we will do reminder calls to those families. Please note that is not being done in a negative way, but we're really trying to get everyone engaged and understanding the world in which we are in for education. We are also working with teachers and other staff to clarify expectations. Administrators have begun visiting informally the OnCourse or Google Classrooms and giving teachers feedback, and a lot of it has been very positive. You know, some need help. Again, clarifications, because it is all so new. I will also add that we're getting a lot of different parent viewpoints. It's interesting that I have some parents emailing that they want more live Zooms, and I have other parents who want the exact opposite. My child's on the screen too much. And there are clear expectations depending on the model and the day of the week. Certainly, for all virtual, there is a live Zoom for every content area. And at the end of the day, for the hybrid children, there are remote sessions as well. So we are trying to make sure that students and parents understand the schedule. One of the schedules that has been particularly challenging, as they call it at the elementary level, is the special schedule, meaning arts and humanities and phys ed and health, and we are working on clarifying that as well. One of the things that I reminded anyone who was listening to the town hall, that I guess was maybe last Thursday night, was we are actually running 4 schools at each school. And what I mean by that is there is the all-virtual school at every school, there is the cohort A, the cohort B, and the school where children in self-contained special ed and other high-level or related services are coming to school 4 of the 5 days and 1 day virtual. So it's 4 schools within each of the 6 schools, and it made for very complicated scheduling. And so it has taken a lot of attention to detail and feedback and patience as we continue to refine things. We realize when something isn't working well that it can be very frustrating at home. I can assure you that frustration is felt here at school as well. But again, we've actually only been through 1 week of school, and today started week 2. And we do expect progress to continue. This week, schools will be putting out messages at the elementary level for supply pickup for students that are in an all-virtual model. And then that will also be done in the near future for middle school and preschool as needed. There's still a lot of planning to be done. For example, some of the things we are working on administratively that building administrators will be discussing with team leaders is things like virtual back-to-school night and in-person photos, as well as opportunities for the children in the virtual model to come in to have their annual school photo. So we are trying to find ways to do all of the typical things in a school year. So meal distribution, this was our 2nd Monday. We are looking to expand the hours, hopefully starting next Monday, to make it from 8 a.m. to 12 noon rather than just the 2 hours. For our youngest learners, that should allow their families to come and pick up the food and still be back home in time for when the first class begins. So there's a lot going on, but overall we are pleased to have opened the school year with both a virtual and an in-person model. And I want to thank the board for your support in allowing us to delay the opening. Even though there's still some bumps, we do believe that that time was so valuable in preparing for the staff and student return. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, we haven't had a meeting since most of the board toured one of the schools to see the setup and just what a wonderful job the maintenance and facility staff did. I don't know if anybody's here tonight. It looked fantastic. Everything was clean. It just, well, I know, and the rest of the board realizes that this was such a challenge, not only from the administrators and the teaching side, but also the facilities and maintenance. I wanted to say thank you for those people that stood outside for Chromebook distribution. That went very, very smoothly. I myself have a child in elementary. There were, as you said, lots and lots of challenges, but the teachers and the staff and the administrators have handled everything, in my opinion, wonderfully. And I really can't tell everybody enough how good of a job I think they did, despite the challenges. So, having said that, attorney's report, please.
Thank you. I have a brief report. Since the time we last met, we went over some student matters, some staff matters, some contractual matters, as well as just general district matters.
Thank you. So, any questions for the board attorney? Curriculum and instruction, please.
Thank you. Item 1 is a resolution to approve homeschooling. The regular school, the ID, the effective date, and the grade are listed. It should be noted where you see a student's initials. That's a kindergarten who has never been in at all, and so there is no assigned school or ID number.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve item 1 under curriculum and instruction, please?
So moved.
May I have a second? Second. Thank you. I didn't hear you. Sorry. Any further comment? Any public comment? May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Noor?
Yes.
Dr. Bashir Blau? Yes. Mrs. Avery? Yes. Mrs. Chester?
Yes.
Vice President Dace?
Yes.
And President Carmen?
Yes. Finance and school operations, Mr. Noor, there was a meeting this evening.
Yes, we had a meeting at 5:30. We talked about pandemic-related items, and we went over the bill list, and any questions anybody had, we were good on all. Financial reports were in order also.
Any other comments from finance?
John said it all.
Perfect. Moving on, please.
Thank you. Resolutions 1 through 7 are to approve July and August 2020 financial reports as well as September 2020 bills list. Resolutions 8 through 10 are to approve regular annual year-end reports submitted to the DOE. Resolution 11 is to accept the Educational Foundation Technology Grant from Galloway Township Education Foundation for this school year in the amount of $50,000. Resolution 12 is to accept the virtual Sustainable Jersey Grant for Smithville Elementary School for a hydration station. Resolution 13 is to approve this year's interlocal agreement with the Township of Galloway for the SROs. Resolution 14 is to approve and accept the amendment number 1 for the Digital Divide Federal Grant, which was part of the CARES Grant. Resolution 15 is to approve Wendy Atkinson as master teacher for preschool, and this is funded through the state preschool funding. Resolution 16 is to approve this year's transportation contract with Greater Egg Harbor. Resolution 17 is to approve out-of-district placements for special ed. Resolution 18 is to approve supplemental instruction for special ed funded through IDEA. Resolutions 19 through 23 are to approve non-public special ed services funded through non-public funding.
Through 23 as well. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. May I have a motion to approve items 1 through 23 under finance and school operations, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there any board comment? I just have a comment to thank Madeline and John and Dr. J. Quinto for all their work on the Ed Foundation. And may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. North?
Yes.
Dr. Sharapov? Yes. Mrs. Avery?
Yes.
Mrs. Chester?
Yes.
Vice President Days?
Yes.
And President Carney?
Yes, facilities and maintenance. Mr. Days, do you have an update for us?
Yes, we had another meeting. Is this on now, Brian? Can you hear me? Is it late? It's on? Okay. We had a meeting again this morning in reference to the Arthur Rand and Pomona vestibule and security board updates and everything. A lot of communication going on. Everybody's coordinating things. A couple of delays, in fact, that supplies from manufacturers are a little slow because of the pandemic and everything that's going on. But everything seems to be working out well there. And the second half of the meeting was in reference to the new facilities building. All the paperwork and everything is still in the process of being approved by the state, local government and everything. But that's well on time and seems like it's going to be up to date and everything. So nothing's lagging behind that. Thank goodness. So, do we have anything?
Thank you. I will just add the Facilities Committee did also meet on September 4th for general updates, including pandemic-related facilities projects prior to school opening, including the touchless faucets that were installed, as well as numerous other items, and also non-pandemic related projects, including the LED lighting upgrade throughout the district that is ongoing through second shift work. We completed Smithville, and they're now working on Roland, and we've gotten great feedback for the LED lighting upgrade.
Any other facilities comments? Moving on.
Thank you. Resolution 1 is to rescind the award of contract with Ocean Construction for site improvements to the Smithville Elementary School. Resolution 2 is authorization for disposal of surplus property.
Thank you. As a reminder, item 1 is rescinding at the contractor's request, not ours. And can I have a motion to approve items 1 and 2 under facilities and maintenance, please? Thank you. Is there any board comment? Any public comment? May I have roll call, please?
Dr. Bashir Blau? Mrs. Avery? Yes. Mrs. Chester?
Yes.
Mr. Noor?
Yes.
Vice President Dace?
Yes.
And President Carmen.
Yes, community use of school facilities, please?
Thank you. Community use of school facilities remains suspended.
Thank you. Personnel.
Thank you. Item 1 is a resolution to accept with regret the letter of intent to retire from Barbara Granis, Galloway Township Middle School teacher, effective June 30th, 2020. Mrs. Granis has worked in the Galloway Township Public School District for 20 years, and her dedication and service to students and staff are appreciated by our entire school family.
Can I have a motion for item 1 under personnel, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there any board comment? Any public comment? May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Noor?
Yes.
Dr. Bashir Blau? Mrs. Avery? Yes. Mrs. Chester? Vice President Dace?
Yes.
And President Carmen.
Yes.
Thank you. Items 2 and 3 are letters of resignation. Items 4 through 7 are family leave requests. Item 8 is to approve Jennifer Jones as a speech teacher. That is a lead position. Item 9 is to approve Holly Cesars as a teacher at Smithville School. This is a part-time replacement position extended to full-time. Resolution 10 is to approve Chrisanne Sharp as a teacher at Reed's, also a lead position. Resolution 11 is to approve Meredith Hoops as a teacher at Arthur Rand. That is a part-time leave extended to full-time. Resolution 13 is for Judith Mitchley as an in-class resource teacher at Arthur Rand, a lead position. Resolution 14 is Jamie Long as an intervention teacher. This is where we get non-public money and we have a staff member assigned to Assumption. That is also a lead position. Resolution 15 is to approve an extension from part to full-time for Ashley Pfeiffer, who is the health service aide of the middle school. Excuse me. Resolutions 16 through 18 are to approve classroom assistants Hannah Walker, Brandy Guidos, and Melanie Sweeney, and Brandon Lyon. Resolution 20 is Morgan Phelps as a part-time custodian. Resolution 21 is adjustment to the salary guide for certificated staff where they advance their degree or credit status. Resolution 22 is transfer within the district of custodial staff. Resolution 23 is transfer within the district of classroom assistant. Resolution 24 is reemployment of substitute teachers. 25, approval of a new substitute teacher. And 26, approval of a new substitute nurse.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for items 2 through 26 under personnel, please?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any board comment? Any public comment? May I have roll call, please?
Dr. Bashir Blau? Mrs. Avery? Mrs. Chester? Mr. Noor?
Yes.
Vice President Dace?
Yes.
And President Carmen.
Yes. Do we have anybody here this evening? Dr. J. Clinton?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you. Supplemental?
Yes, for the supplemental section, items 27. Item 27 is the various categories for child care. And then items 28 through 38 are a variety of different stipend positions, training, professional development, compensatory services, non-public evaluators and case managers. Many of these items are funded either through non-public money or through federal funds such as Title II-A, and the funding source is listed for each item.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for items 27 through 38 under supplemental personnel?
Second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? May I have roll call, please?
Dr. Bashir Blau? Mrs. Avery? Mrs. Chester? Mr. Noor?
Yes.
Vice President Dace?
Yes.
And President Carmen.
Yes. There is no policy this evening. Notice of public meetings, please.
Thank you. I will note that we will be in touch with the policy committee to schedule a meeting. We do have a couple policies that we've got information for revisions. In October, we have 2 public meetings scheduled, October 12th and October 26th, right here in the GTMS cafeteria as of this moment. And we hope the low risk continues in New Jersey, or our part of the state that allows us to do that. I did get a question about when we were virtual, the meetings were at 6 o'clock, and we went back to 7 o'clock for this in-person meeting. So I'm not sure if any of the board members want to go back to the 6 o'clock or prefer to stay at the 7. I did want to mention that.
Anybody on the board have a preference, 6 or 7 o'clock on Monday? I prefer 7, just because it gives us a little bit more time to eat dinner and get our, but I can certainly do 6. But let's just go around the board. Belinda, 6 or 7? John, 6 or 7? Rich? Alexa? Madeline? 7 it is. Okay. At this time, I will open the meeting for public comment. Is there any public comment this evening? Okay, old business going around the board. Mrs. Chester, do you have any comment? Mr. Noor?
Yes, I would just like to thank Madeline for all the work she's done for the golf tournament, which is Thursday this week. Starting at 1 o'clock, registration starts at 11:30, and we're looking forward to good weather.
It's supposed to be gorgeous. Yeah. Mr. Days?
Well, I have to say, it's nice to see everybody again, and I can recognize you, yes, so on. It's nice to at least get out in public again, and hopefully next time, or soon, this will all be over.
Dr. Bashir Blau?
I just want to say thank you to everyone in the district for all the work that went into reopening. I have a lot of children that live on Orange Street, and I've talked to all of them, they're excited to be back, and happy, and they're loving the experience right now. So I just want to say thank you to all of them.
Good, thank you. Mrs. Avery? Nothing. And nothing from me. For new business this evening, there's one item that I am appointing Dr. Bashir Blau to be the chairperson of the Board of Technology Committee. As Mike has resigned, so Dr. Bashir Blau is taking his spot. We do have executive session this evening, so be it resolved that the Galloway Township Board of Education shall meet in executive session on September 1st, 2020, immediately for the purpose of discussing the GTPSA contract. So be it resolved that the Galloway Township Board of Education shall reconvene the open public session. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting adjourned to go into executive session. And we will Okay, we are now reconvening the public session, and it is further resolved that the discussion of the subject matter, anyway, we have a resolution to approve the Galloway Township Principals and Supervisors Association and go to agreement, negotiated agreement for the period beginning July 1st, 2020, and ending June 30th, 2023. Can I have a motion to approve that resolution, please? Thank you. Is there any board comment? Is there any public comment? May I have a roll call, please?
Dr. Bashir Blau?
Yes.
Mr. Noor?
Yes.
Mrs. Avery?
Yes.
Mrs. Chester?
Yes.
Vice President Dace?
Abstain?
And President Carmen.
Yes. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? Seriously, you're having such a good time. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Mr. Moore. Can I have a second, please? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned. did anybody stay, or is that it?
That's it. The two administrators.
Wouldn't it be funny if we just voted no? You should tell them that President Carmen will
Pull that
stay
fader
or
up a
we
little
should
bit.
vote no, because they left.
Pull that last fader up a little bit. Okay.
Well, in their defense, they said, do we have to stay? And I said, no. So, my fault.
So, Mr. Ruffy, you owe us all a beverage. Okay, we are now reconvening the public session, and it is further resolved that the discussion of the subject matter, anyway, we have a resolution to approve the Allen Township Principals and Supervisors Association and go to agreement, negotiated agreement for the period beginning July 1st, 2020, and ending June 30th, 2023. Can I have a motion to approve that resolution, please? Thank you. Is there any word comment? Is there any public comment? May I have a roll call, please?
Dr. Bashir Blau?
Yes.
Mr. Nord?
Yes.
Mrs. Avery?
Yes.
Mrs. Chester?
Yes.
Vice President Dace?
Abstain?
And President Carmen.
Yes. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? Seriously?
You're having such a good time.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Don't move.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.